This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
On this 40th anniversary of Secretariat's Triple Crown campaign, we have invited a special guest to announce the Eclipse Award for the 2013 Horse of the Year. Joining us now from her home in Colorado, the Secretariat's owner and a thoroughbred racing legend in her own right, ladies and gentlemen, Penny Chenery.
Congratulations to tonight's winners. I wish I could be with you all to share the excitement as I tell you that the Horse of the Year is Wise Dan.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Down the Stretch. I'm Mark Asano. On this morning's program, we will salute the Eclipse Award winners from 2013. We'll examine the vote totals and display several unique votes. Our three-year-old segment will include the LeCompte, the Smarty Jones, and the San Pedro, and we will update our Derby Dozen. Then we will welcome in a pair of special guests from South Florida, both with runners in this afternoon's Holy Bull. Mr. Kiaran McLaughlin, who's got Cairo Prince, and Mr. Chad Brown, who has Coup de Grace. We will take a look at a trio of stakes going to the internal breaks, which include the return of Mucho Macho Man in the Sunshine Millions Classic. So all of that and much, much more if you stay with us for this, our January 25th edition of the program. Good morning once again. I hope you found a way to survive last week. Bitterly, bitterly cold. Settle in, relax, stay warm. Got a good show for you over the next 55 minutes or so with our historic shot of the old Gulfstream paddock and walking ring where they had all of that nice green grass. All right, we begin this morning's show on a sad note. Veteran horseman Tom Voss, who trained both jumpers and flat runners, died this past Tuesday at the age of 63. Voss, who was the leading steeplechase trainer 5 times, conditioned 2010 jump champion Slipaway. On the flat, Voss trained John's Call, who in 2000 won the Sword Dancer at Saratoga at age 9, thus becoming the oldest Grade 1 winner ever. Our condolences to his family and friends. And Wando, who was the most recent winner of the Canadian Triple Crown in 2003, died on Wednesday at the young age of 14. Last Saturday evening at Gulfstream Park, the 43rd Annual Eclipse Awards announcing and honoring the champions of 2013. Let's take a look at them with some vote totals, beginning with the champion steeplechaser and Divine Fortune. With 112 votes, easily won this category, where 22% of all voters abstained. The champion 2-year-olds from 2013, the champion 2-year-old male, Shared Belief, the winner of the Hollywood Futurity and the Hollywood Preview in a close vote, as expected, over Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner New Year's Day by a count of 115 to 99. The champion 2-year-old filly, She's a Tiger, who was disqualified from the win in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. She won this category, and I thought she would, easily, besting Juvenile Fillies turf heroine Crescelium and Juvenile Fillies winner Rhea Antonia by a count of 212 to 15 to 10. Now, I believe, I misspoke last week. I believe this marked the first time since 1995 and only the second time since the advent of the Breeders' Cup in 1984, where neither winner of either the Breeders' Cup Juvenile or the Juvenile Fillies went on to win an Eclipse Award. Now the champion 3-year-olds. The champion 3-year-old male will take charge by virtue of a terrific second half of the year, overwhelmingly defeated Orb by a vote count of 231 to 15. The champion 3-year-old filly Beholder, whose sensational victory in the Breeders' Cup Distaff overcame an outstanding year-long campaign by Princess of Silmar to easily outpoll that rival 207 to 42. No other 3-year-old filly, as it should have been, got a vote. Now for champion older horses, the champion older male, while it remains uncertain exactly what this category truly means, Wise Dan won it for the second year in a row. Wise Dan edged Mucho Macho Man by a vote of 123 to 93, with Game On Dude receiving just 31 votes, and the champion older female, Royal Delta. She won an Eclipse for the third straight year, the second in this category, by getting 234 of the 249 votes cast. Dank finished second with 5 votes. Now the champion turf horses, and they both won easily as expected. The champion turf male, Wise Dan, he received 243 of the 249 votes cast. And I'm not sure how you could possibly vote against him. The champion turf female from Europe, Dank, who was 2 for 2 in the United States, including the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf, she received 229 votes. Laughing and Misdirection tied for second with 8 votes apiece. Champion sprinters for 2013, the champion male, the ill-fated Points Off the Bench. With a pair of Grade 1 wins in Southern California, he outpolled Breeders' Cup sprint hero Secret Circle by a count of 125 to 70. Now, I thought it would be a bit closer. Sahara Sky, winner of the Met Mile, finished third with 45 votes. The champion female sprinter for the second year in a row, Groupie Doll, easily won the championship. The winner of the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint, Groupie Doll outpolled Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint heroine Misdirection by a count of 192 to 45. Now for the Human Awards. There are 5 categories. There were 4 different winners. That's because the winner for both Outstanding Breeder and Outstanding Owner went to Ken and Sarah Ramsey. In the Breeders category, the Ramseys romped over perennial powerhouse Adena Springs by a count of 221 to 17. In the Owner category, the Ramseys received 235 of the 249 votes cast. What an incredible 2013 it was for the Ramseys and their stallion, Kitten's Joy. In the Outstanding Jockey categories, the Outstanding Apprentice Jockey, Victor Carrasco from Maryland. Victor won 215 races and $4.35 million in 2013 and easily outpolled Edgard Zayas and Manny Franco by a count of 172 to 18 to 13. And the Outstanding Jockey went to Javier Castellano, who won his first Eclipse Award. Castellano set a North American record of $26+ million in purses, and easily captured this award with 134 votes. Gary Stevens, back off a 7-year retirement, finished second with 65. Joel Rosario, who actually won more than $27 million in purses, if you count his victory in the Dubai World Cup, was third with 21. Mike Smith was fourth with 19. And congratulations to Matt Musiker, formerly from here in Saratoga, who is Javier Castellanos' agent. The Outstanding Trainer Award, for the 6th time, went to Todd Pletcher, who led all trainers in purses won, the most grade ones, the most overall graded stakes. Todd received 183 votes. Wayne Lucas finished second with 21. Jerry Hollendorfer was third with 9. Now, neither Lucas nor Hollendorfer were listed as finalists, but that's due to a point system used to come up with the 3 finalists. But remember, only first place votes count for winning the award, so Lucas second and Hollendorfer third. The 2013 Horse of the Year, as expected, for the 2nd year in a row, went to Wise Dan. He wins the sport's highest honor again. 6 for 7, with a second in 2013, Wise Dan capped off his outstanding year by overcoming a slow start and a less than ideal trip to repeat in the Breeders' Cup Mile. Wise Dan received 208 votes. Mucho Macho Man, a distant second with 21. Will Take Charge was third with 15. Dank, Princess of Silmar, and Royal Delta each received 1 vote. So, for the 2nd straight year, Wise Dan is Horse of the Year, Champion Turf Male, and Champion Older Horse, making him the first horse in the history of the Eclipse Awards to win 3 awards in back-to-back years. And with his 2nd Horse of the Year title, Wise Dan joined, listen to this list, Secretariat, Forgo, Affirmed, John Henry, Cigar, and Curlin as multiple winners of Horse of the Year. Congratulations to his owner and breeder, Morton Fink. Congratulations to trainer Charlie Lepresti and his staff. Congratulations to jockeys Johnny Velasquez and Jose Lescano. What a year it was for Wise Dan. Now, on last week's show, I attempted to predict the winners of the Eclipse Awards in the 17 different categories. I have voted for the Eclipse Awards for quite a while now, and I've actually studied the vote totals each and every year, and I think that helped me a great deal this year as I went 17 for 17. I aced it. Too bad I didn't ace, more tests in high school and college. So, I understand most of the voters pretty well. But there were some Eclipse Awards votes cast which were absolutely incomprehensible. Let's take a look at those. One voter decided that Tamarando should have been champion 2-year-old male. Could that have been because of his distant 3rd place finish in the Hollywood Futurity behind his stablemate and champion Shared Belief? One voter decided Artemis Agratera should be champion 2-year-old filly. Now, she's a very nice filly. Please don't get me wrong. She ran very well here in New York. But when facing the acid test in the Breeders' Cup, she finished 5th in the juvenile fillies. Somebody liked Verrazano as champion 3-year-old male. Folks, I pride myself in knowing all of the upper echelon horses in training, where they're racing, what races they ran in, what races they won, how they did in the other races. So when I saw Brandy Secret get a vote for champion older female, I didn't even know who she was. I had to go back and look it up. Brandy Secret had run in starter allowance races in 2013, and one voter decided that she deserved to be champion over Royal Delta and the others. A couple of interesting votes for champion male sprinter. Both Strapping Groom and Immortal Eyes, the latter, who I don't believe ever ran in a graded stakes race, got a vote each. Champion turf male, somebody felt it obviously, who was fifth in the Breeders' Cup Mile. Wise Dan ran by him at the quarter pole like he was tied to the pole, but somebody felt obviously should be champion turf male. Now, the outstanding rider. I told you several times that there were 5 jockeys who I thought had terrific years in 2013. Javier, Joel Rosario, Mike Smith, Gary Stevens, Johnny Velasquez. They got all the votes in that category except one. Somebody voted for Corey Nakatani. Corey's a fine rider, but to think that he was the finest rider in 2013 is bizarre. Now, Dale Romans won the Eclipse Award in 2012, had a great year. And Dale would be the first to tell you that his 2013 was really rough. Well, according to one voter, he had the best year in 2013. And one voter felt that Royal Delta deserved Horse of the Year. Now, you know, we all love Royal Delta, but she got crushed by the boys in the Dubai World Cup. She lost to Princess of Silmar. You know, she was 4th in the distaff behind Beholder. The Baseball Writers of America this year suspended one of its members and took away his voting privileges, you know, in voting for the Hall of Fame, because he gave his ballot away to an online entity and let them vote. I have said for decades that if we as a group take this vote seriously enough, that we talk to the people who made these votes, because they're incomprehensible. I mean, there is no way you can justify any of these votes. And if we start suspending people for voting frivolously, well, these bizarre votes will eventually go away. But congratulations to all of the champions from 2013. And we are up to our first break on this morning's January 25th edition of the program. When we return, it's our 3-year-old segment. As we go to this break, the Sunshine Millions Classic, featuring the return of Breeders' Cup Classic hero, Mucho Macho Man. He is number 4. He's the 1-10 favorite, and he had about, I think, well over 700,000 in the show pool. So we will take a look at the Sunshine Millions Classic to the break. Back with our 3-year-old segment right after these messages.
And they're all in line. They're off in the Sunshine Millions Classic, and Mucho Macho Man goes right to the front. He broke on the money, and he's going to the lead with Bernie the Maestro after him from the outside to put some pressure on Mucho Macho Man as they go into the turn. Gary Stevens is going to let Bernie the Maestro go and sit second now, 2 lengths behind. Then rule number 6, followed by Joshua's Comprise, Decaf Again, and Gourmet Dinner is at the back of the field, 8 lengths off of front-running Bernie the Maestro and Joel Rosario, who will take him to the back stretch in 23 seconds flat. Mucho Macho Man guided to the outside, content to sit second. And right behind him is rule number 6, third. It's now 8 lengths to Gourmet Dinner, and they've left Joshua's Comprise and Decaf Again behind. Up the backstretch, Bernie the Maestro will try to steal it on the lead here. He's out there 2.5 lengths in front of Mucho Macho Man, the Breeders' Cup Classic winner, who's still content to sit second at this stage. They went a half mile in 46 1/5 seconds. It's a very good pace here. Rule number 6 is 5 lengths off the lead. Now comes under a ride. Gourmet Dinner, Joshua's Comprise, and Decaf Again around the far turn. And here comes Mucho Macho Man, and he breezes right on by Bernie the Maestro. Mucho Macho Man by 3. Bernie the Maestro second, and it's a long way back to the others, as Mucho Macho Man has run 3/4 in 1:10 and 2, and he's into the stretch. Mucho Macho Man. Gary Stevens hand riding him at the 8th pole, 10 lengths in front of the field. Bernie the Maestro about to be joined by Joshua's Comprise, who takes second behind the comeback performance by Mucho Macho Man. in the Sunshine Millions Classic. Joshua's Comprise was second, Decaf again was third, and Bernie the Maestro was fourth. The final time, 1 minute 48.76 seconds, just more than a second off the track record.
This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Here in upstate New York, no one provides bettors with more wagering options than Capital OTB. Our network of branch and easy bet locations stretches from the mid-Hudson Valley all the way to the Canadian border and west to central New York. So whether you need to place a bet, fund your Capital Bets account, or watch the next big race, all the action is just around the corner. A full list of our branch and easy bet locations can be found online at capitalotb.com. Capital OTB, the better and most convenient choice for wagering in upstate New York.
Welcome back to Down the Stretch, everyone. I'm Mark Asano and Mucho Macho Man for Kathy Ritfo and Gary Stevens by 14 lengths in pretty much a near $250,000 public workout. Speaking of workouts, we begin our 3-year-old segment with word that champion Shared Belief, who had missed a scheduled work a week ago, due to a foot abscess, missed another workout yesterday. Apparently, the injury is slow to heal. Shared Belief, who was so impressive in winning the Hollywood Futurity, hasn't had a timed workout since January 3rd and will likely be forced to miss the February 8th Robert Lewis Stakes. And Noble Moon, who returned off a 2-month layoff to capture the recent Jerome at Aqueduct, has also been sidelined due to a foot problem. According to his trainer Leah Germati, Noble Moon will miss the February 1st Withers and is questionable for the March 1st Gotham. Okay, a trio of 3-year-old stakes from the past week to take a look at, beginning with a LeCompte from the Fairgrounds. Field of 9, but 2 horses took the money. Number 4, Gold Hawk, wheeled back pretty quickly off an impressive allowance score, the 13-10 favorite. Number 7, Vickers in Trouble, a runaway maiden winner sprinting, now making his 2-turn debut, the 17-10 second choice. For the call of the LeCompte, here's John Dooley.
And they're off in the LeCompte Stakes. Vickers in Trouble right out toward the front. Albano toward the inside, the Delta Challenger. Roman Unbridled now from the rail and to the lead at the first turn. It's Roman Unbridled in front of Vickers in Trouble, who will follow the leader as they round the first turn. The outside is Albano, who's now gained third from Gold Hawk in the white cap between horses and settled there for Shawbridge Mahan as they go to the back of the track. Nearest the inside is Rainbow Trip, then comes Plug Catcher, while they're back to Got Shades and 4 to Smarty's Echo, who's dropped back to last, the quarter in 23 and 3/5 seconds. They race up the backstretch. Roman Unbridled leads the way from a tracking Vickers in Trouble, who's close up there, just under 5 furlongs to go. Albano is lying in third. Gold Hawk is fourth, and 4 from Roman Unbridled, who leads them a half mile from home. Still 3 more to Plug Catcher. Nearest the inside is Rainbow Trip, followed on the outside by Got Shades, Smarty's Echo, and Silent Ruler. Half mile in 47 and 4/5 seconds, 3 furlongs to go. Vickers in Trouble has nosed in front of Roman Unbridled midway through the turn. Albano still right there third. Gold Hawk is fourth and drawing in now, coming toward the quarter pole. Plug Catcher a wide fifth. Got Shades is sixth and still 7 from the front. Then farther back to Smarty's Echo on the far outside. 3/4 went in 1:13 flat, 3/16 to go. Vickers in Trouble has first run for the final furlong and has come 5 lengths clear. Gold Hawk, Albano for the inside, Roman Unbridled. Farther back to Got Shades, Plug Catcher, and Silent Ruler. Vickers in Trouble, rolling home for Rosie Napravnik. Vickers in Trouble lands the LeCompte with style by 7.
No trouble for Vickers in Trouble as he captures the LeCompte by 6 3/4 lengths in his 2-turn debut. Coming off a pair of 6 furlong sprints, Vickers in Trouble rated pretty kindly off of Roman Unbridled, moved to the front and upper stretch, and went on to a handy score over Albano and Gold Hawk, the latter who was one-paced after being a handful to load. As for the winner, Vickers in Trouble is a Louisiana-bred son of Into Mischief. The mile and 70 yards in 142.57, off 3/4 in 113.11, about a half second quicker than the Silver Bullet Day. The Risen Star up next for some of these. Next up for us, the Smarty Jones on Monday at Oaklawn, the 6-5 favorite, number 10, Coastline, the beaten favorite in the Delta Jackpot. But watch number 8, Tanzanite Cat, as we take a look at the Smarty Jones and the call from Frank Miramati.
We're set. And they're off in the Smarty Jones. Coastline did break smoothly. Decajun Cat on the inside. Walt is moving up in between horses. And Tanzanite Cat won from the outside. Denali Rahi Ruler is just behind them. Son of a Preacher in the yellow colors is racing mid-pack. Then it's Unstoppable Colby. Why Are You Awesome? Not the smoothest trip through the first turn for Firestarter or a step ahead. Tanzanite Cat will be the target. Leads by a length to Walt second. Coastline in the clear on the outside. Good Trip third. Then comes Denali Rahi Ruler racing in fourth. Decajun Cat is racing in between horses fifth. Son of a Preacher, Yellow Cat moving up one from the outside. Unstoppable Colby extreme outside. Why Are You Awesome is at the rail with about 7 lengths to make up. Firestarter behind him, a step ahead at the back. Half mile left to run. Walt is the leader now by 3/4 of a length. Tanzanite Cat is in second. Coastline is in third. They're followed by Denali Rahi Ruler, widest of all. Son of a Preacher is in between horses, moving up to claim fourth. At the rail, Decajun Cat. Firestarter is next, trying to launch a bid in heavy traffic. Unstoppable Colby is on the far outside. Then it's Why Are You Awesome and a step ahead. They're coming to the quarter pole. It is Walt, the leader, narrowly from Tanzanite Cat. Coastline has had the perfect journey in third. Son of a Preacher's in fourth. Then comes Firestarter. Unstoppable Colby. White blinkers far outside. They're at the top of the stretch. Walt is hanging in there. Tanzanite Cat up alongside. They've been stride to stride most of the journey. Just behind them, Coastline is in third. Then comes Son of a Preacher. Tanzanite Cat on the outside gets the best of Walt in the late stages. And Tanzanite Cat wins full of run in the Smarty Jones.
Tanzanite Cat, Cody Autry and Norberto Arroyo Jr., there's a name from the past, in his 2-turn debut, makes the early lead, eases back, stalks the pace, takes over here, and edges clear late to a 1.25 length score over Walt and Coastline as the top 3 finishers basically sat 1, 2, 3 around the track. Tanzanite Cat is a son of Graham Hall, who was making his 3rd career start at his 3rd different track. He had impressively broken his maiden in one of the many off-the-turf races at the fairgrounds in last, successfully made the jump to Stakes Company, and successfully negotiated 2 turns. The mile in 138.69. You know, pretty cheap claimers, $7,500 claimers, ran their mile in 138.90, but it was a nice performance from Tanzanite Cat. Finally, Monday San Pedro at 3/4 of a mile at Santa Anita. Now, normally, I don't consider 6 furlong races less than 15 weeks in front of the Derby to be terribly relevant. But you know what? It might be different in here. Pay attention to number 2, Indianapolis, the 3-5 favorite. For the call of the San Pedro, here's Trevor Denman.
Goes in, gates closed, all set. And away they go to a good beginning. From the inside gate, Rockin' Home is ridden along to try to get the lead. Beach Hut from the outside gate, and Indianapolis racing between those two. 3 in a line in the early stages. And then it's another 2.5 back to Papa Turf. Sorted themselves out now as they go to the half-mile pole, and Rockin' Home now sprints clear. Rockin' Home opens up almost 2 lengths. Indianapolis content to sit there in second. It's another 2 back to Beach Hut in the 3rd spot, and Papa Turf at the back. They're taking closer order now as they go past the 3/8. Rockin' Home still the leader, but now here comes Indianapolis to breathe down his neck in second. Beach Hut in the pink cap right there, and Papa Turf. The four runners lining up at the top of the lane. Quarter of a mile to go. They're almost in a straight line out here. Rockin' Home comes under pressure. Now being passed by Indianapolis, and Indianapolis strikes the front, gets a tap on the shoulder. Beach Hut between them, Papa Turf on the outside, and eighth to go. Indianapolis now taken on by Papa Turf, comes down to these two. Indianapolis finding more. Papa Turf can't get him, and Indianapolis is opening up as they come to the wire. Indianapolis and Martin Garcia winning powerfully. They win it well in the end. Papa Turf was second, then Beach Hut and Rockin' Home.
Indianapolis for Bob Baffert and Martin Garcia levels out in the lane for a 4 1/4 length score. Now, he's the son of Medaglia d'Oro out of Pretty and Smart. He's won a couple of dirt sprints during his career. All of his siblings are basically sprinters, but they were sired, I think for the most part, by sprint sires. And Indianapolis is from Baffert, and because of that, he gets some extra consideration from me. Cost $500,000. We'll see where he goes next, but I can guarantee you he's going to stretch out around 2 turns. Now, with those 3 races in the books, let's take a look at the updated down the stretch Derby dozen. As of this morning, 14 weeks in front of the Kentucky Derby. Honor Code remains number 1. Numbers 2 through 9. Now, I'll tell you, we did this before the news on Shared Belief. I probably would have dropped Shared Belief a spot or 2 because of the missed workout again. But numbers 2 through 9, Shared Belief through Havana, each move up 1 spot with a loss of Gold Hawk. Numbers 10 and 11, Indianapolis and Vickers in Trouble are new, and Coup de Grace goes from 11 to 12. 3 of these horses, Cairo Prince, Wicked Strong, and Coup de Grace, all start in this afternoon's Holy Bull. And we are up to our next break on this January 25th edition of the show. Thank you so much for having joined us. When we return, we will be joined by Mr. Kiaran McLaughlin as we go to the break, the Silver Bullet Day, 3-year-old fillies at the fairgrounds. And in a bit of an unusual occurrence, there were co-favorites at even money. You know, Short Field and Takeout. Number 2, Unbridled Forever, and number 6, Divine Beauty. So we will take a look at the Silver Bullet Day to the break. Back with Kiaran McLaughlin right after these messages.
They're in the gate. They're on. Racing in the Silver Bullet Day Stakes, and Istanford was last of the 5 away. Here's the inside express model and Divine Beauty for the early lead. And now Istanford is keen to join them. Unbridled Forever and Army is last of the stakes quintet as they round the first turn. It's Divine Beauty who's in front as they go to the back of the track. Istanford second on the outside. Express Model is third now as they settle down. Then Unbridled Forever second to last, and Army trails 6 lengths from leader to last. And the leader is Divine Beauty for Rosina Pravnik. The quarter was 23 3/5 seconds. Divine Beauty sets up shop in front with Istanford 3/4 of a length away. Just under 5 furlongs to go. Express Model moving through toward the inside, and held up there in that pocket is Express Model. Unbridled Forever nicely on the outside, drawing in, and Army trails, but it's a close-knit pack. It goes past the half mile in 47 4/5 seconds. They enter the turn. Divine Beauty it is from Istanford. On the outside, Unbridled Forever, Express Model holds her spot at the rail, and Army is 5th. 5/16 to go. And here comes Unbridled Forever toward the inside, Divine Beauty. The favorite fillies at the quarter pole from Express Model, Istanford, and Army is last into the stretch. Past the quarter pole. 3/4 went in 1 minute 12 4/5 seconds. Unbridled Forever charging at Divine Beauty. Into this final fairgrounds furlong. And it's Unbridled Forever who now has the edge. Unbridled Forever by a neck. Divine Beauty toward the inside. Express Model is third. Inside the final 16th. Unbridled Forever, Divine Beauty. Unbridled Forever first in 143 flat. Divine Beauty was second to Unbridled Forever today. Then Express Model, Army, and a long looking last was Istanford.
This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Using CapitalOTBBet.com is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Simply log on with your username and password from the homepage. 2. Fund your Capital OTB account through our Easy Money, Green Dot, or Visa MasterCard options. And 3. Place your bet on one of our 3 easy-to-navigate wagering platforms, Capital Bet TV, Capital Bet Express, or Capital Bet Pro. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Welcome back to Down the Stretch, everyone. I'm Mark Cassano, and unbridled forever for Dallas Stewart and Robbie Alvarado runs down Divine Beauty to capture the Silver Bullet Day by a length and a half. Our first guest this morning will be saddling Cairo Prince in today's Holy Bull at sunny and warm Gulfstream Park. We welcome live via telephone Mr. Kiaran McLaughlin. Kiaran, Mark Cassano welcoming you back to Down the Stretch.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
Always nice to have you, Kiaran. Let's go back and take a look at the Remsen. And for our audience, Cairo Prince is number 9. He'll be breaking from the extreme outside post. Kiaran, give us your thoughts on the performance of your colt, considering, the bizarre nature of how the Remsen was run.
I was very pleased with Cairo Prince's effort, not so pleased with jockey Louis Saez's performance on the day. But, I leave it up to jockeys a lot, and I talked to him before the race that there's not that much pace, so we need to be forwardly placed. And he said, yes, but I think that when I ask him, he responds always, so he'll be fine just laying off of it. Okay, so we go around the first turn 3 wide, in a very slow 25 and change, was it?
Yeah. 26,
the half and 52. But, he had a great chance to go on and win the race. When he turned for home, he moved up on Honor Code and went by him a half a length and looked like he was going to win by a length. And he never hit him. And he had a stick turned down. And then real late, shoot, this horse is coming back, and he tapped him right-handed with a stick down twice. And one of Louis Saez's strong suits is hitting left-handed and hitting aggressively, and all we would have needed to do is probably hit him once, and he would have gone on to win. But instead, Honor Code and Javier Castellano came back to beat us a nose. So I don't usually knock jockeys very much, but I was pretty upset about that ride. And we gave up 6 pounds to the winner. So we ran a winning race for sure, but we didn't get the winner's share of the purse.
Now, Luis is back on this afternoon, which is a little bit surprising to some folks. Did you think about replacing him after that ride?
Yes, right away. I thought about it, and I just thought, he's a great kid. He's a very good jockey, and he won't make that same mistake twice. So we left him on, and he came out and worked him one day for us. And, it's awfully hard to get the top jockey sometimes in our outfit because Johnny rides so much for Todd and Chad, and Javier's Todd and Chad, and Joel Rosario has his customers. So with a top horse, you can get some of those guys, but it is hard on us. So we're happy to have Louis Saez today, and we think we're the horse to beat.
All right, with the Remsen behind us, how has Cairo Prince changed, Kiaran, physically in the 2 months since we last saw him?
Well, he's doing extremely well, and I've said this before. We don't need a lot of change. We just need him to stay the same, happy, healthy, and training great, and he is. And he has filled out a little bit, and we measured him the other day at 16.1 and a half, hands tall, and he's a tall, leggy horse, and he's probably always going to look lighter than we wish he would, but he is feeling great, and he has put on some weight, and he couldn't be doing any better.
And he certainly appears to be working awfully well at Palm Meadows. Are you pleased with the way he's working and coming up to this afternoon's race?
Yes, we're very pleased. We don't usually like to work in 59 and change very often, but what happened is after his last all three of his races, he's never faced dirt or kickback. So we decided to have Louis come out and sit behind a couple of horses and take the dirt in his face for a 5/8 work. And when he turned for home, he split the two horses that were in front of him and went on to win the 5 furlong workout in 59 and 2. But the most important thing was he took the dirt very well in case he has to take it today or the next race. And then we came back and he worked in 59 and change. Just because he's doing that well, we asked the exercise rider to go in 101, but he went 59 and 3 or 59 and 4. So then we came back with a 48 and 3. So all systems are go, and he's just doing extremely well.
Let's talk about his early season schedule. First of all, why did you decide on the Holy Bull as a starting point?
Well, the new point system is really has its flaws, and we don't like it so far because we won a Grade 2 Nashua Stakes, and we were penalized 6 pounds in the Remsen carrying top weight, and we didn't get any points winning that Grade 2. So the next point race, we gave up 6 pounds and got beat a nose and got 4 points. Now the Holy Bull is 10 points again to the winner, and we're giving 6 pounds away. So I think they need to tweak the point system a little bit, and you know, we're running today and for 10 points, where the next race in 4 weeks is 50 points. So it's kind of strange how it goes, and we don't know where we're going from here. We're planning on running here because it's 60 days since he last ran, and it's time to run him. He's doing great. So from here, we will have to figure out what we do next. But I'm not a big fan of the point system at this time.
All right. Now, back here in New York, Long River has been doing quite well for your assistant, Art Magnuson, a Clifton Park boy, winner of 3 straight, including last Saturday's evening attire. Kiaran, talk to us about the progress of Long River.
We sent him home last year. He was on the Derby Trail. We sent him home with a chip in his knee. And Johnny Burke had him at Keeneland, did a great job with him, and sent him back to us. And the first race, he got beat a neck in an allowance race, which we thought was a great run because he had been away 9 months or so. And then he came back and won the AO van. And then he won an overnight stake for straight 3-year-olds. And then he beat older horses in the evening attire January 18th. And he's really just improving all the time. And he has a great pedigree by AP Indy out of Round Pond. So we're looking to get some great stakes under his belt so he can maybe stand stud at some point. So we're looking for a great stake next time. But he's just a top horse. Very nice horse.
And unfortunately, you gave me some bad news when we were speaking during the break. One of my favorite fillies in your barn, Dance Card, who was, I thought, an outstanding third in the filly and mare sprint, considering she had only had a single prep race in the prior 11 months. She's been retired?
Yes, she's one of our favorites also. I think she was one of the best fillies that I've ever trained. So it was a tough call, but we brought her to Florida, and she had a couple of works, and we had taken chips out of her ankles last year. And so we were always cautious with her and watching her close. And we x-rayed her recently and just felt like that she was okay and sound to go home. But if we kept working weekly and racing her all year, we might have some other issues. So we decided, as in Godolphin, decided to retire her because she's already a Grade 1 winner, very well bred, and not take a chance of other injuries. So we had to stop on her, and we have Wedding Toast for the same connection. that won the same races as her, except hers was a grade 3 instead of grade 1. Gazelle on Thanksgiving, they rotated those stakes. We hope she steps up and takes her place this year.
And finally, Kiaran, before we let you go, in this afternoon's 5th race at Gulfstream, you're going to be running Abtal for the first time. Got some back class in Europe. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, very classy horse, has trained very well, and we definitely think he's the greatest stake horse. But sometimes off over a year layoff and coming from Europe, they are a little rusty and might not break real sharp, and the turns come up fast. So we're looking for a big effort, but, you know, if he doesn't win, it's not the end of the world. We hopefully will have him for the rest of the year in big races.
Well, Kiaran, as always, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for having joined us this morning on Down the Stretch, and all the best later this afternoon with Cairo Prince in the Holy Bull.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for doing a great job for horse racing.
Thank you, Kiaran. Kiaran McLaughlin, ladies and gentlemen, going to be fascinating to see Cairo Prince. The one thing I can guarantee you about this afternoon's Holy Bull is the first 3 quarters will not be run in 17 and change. And we are up to our final break. When we return back to South Florida, where we'll welcome Mr. Chad Brown. As we go to the break, the Stroob from Santa Anita, the 7-5 favorite, number 6, Hear the Ghost. Now watch what happens. Pay attention to the 6, Hear the Ghost at the break. So we'll take a look at the Stroob going to the break. Back with Chad Brown right after these messages.
Feel for the Stroob sent on their way. Here the Ghost was a little awkward coming out the gate. Quickest in his stride is Air of Storm. Here the Ghost quickly recovered. On the inside, Governor Charlie now goes up second, then comes shaking it up. In behind that, we have Say Ow, who's dropped 5 lengths off these leaders. Down at the rail comes Dice Flavor. Up alongside of that comes Zewat. And last of all is Rookie Sensation. Only 7 off the lead, though. They head to the 3/4 pole, and it's Air of Storm, just setting a sensible pace, leads at 3 parts of a length. Governor Charlie's right there in second, then it's 2 lengths back to Shaking It Up. Here the Ghost is now in 4th. They're stretching out a little. Here the Ghost now 5 off the leaders. Dice Flavor is down at the rail alongside Zewat, Say Ow on the far side, and Rookie Sensation is last, now 10 off the lead. They head past the half-mile in the Stroob, and it is still Air of Storm showing the way. Right there, second, Governor Charlie. Shaking It Up comes after them third. A gap of 4 back to Hear the Ghost, and Zewat now sent after the leaders. Then Dice Flavors, Say Ow, and Rookie Sensation on the far side still has 10 to make up. They are coming to the top of the lane now, and it's Air of Storm on the inside. Now Governor Charlie strikes the front, and on the outside, Shaking It Up coming after them. Here the Ghost back in 4th, and then Zewat at the top of the lane now. Shaking It Up coming home powerfully, and Shaking It Up strikes the front and strides away. Governor Charlie second. Here the Ghost down the centre of the track, but it is Shaking It Up and Mike Smith. Too good in the Stroob. Shaking It Up, an authoritative winner, wins it just over 2. Shaking It Up beats Governor Charlie. 1-2 for Bob Baffert. Here the Ghost was 3rd and Zewat was 4th.
This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Missed one of our TV shows? No worries. Now you can catch all your favorite programs online. Simply log on to CapitalOTB.com and click on the YouTube link at the bottom of the homepage. And look for our new podcast coming soon. CapitalOTB.com. Log on today. Funding your Capital OTB bet account is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Easy Money. Clearly the fastest and easiest method of depositing funds into your account. Make deposits or withdrawals in just minutes. 2. Green Dot Money Pack. Gives you instant access to your funds. Green Dot Money Packs are available at thousands of retailers nationwide. And 3. MasterCard Visa. Simply click on the link from the funding page, enter your account information, and fund your account. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Welcome back to Down the Stretch, everyone. I'm Mark Casano. My thanks to Kiaran McLaughlin once again for having joined us, and shaking it up for Bob Baffert and Mike Smith by 2 1/4 over stablemate Governor Charlie with a favorite here, the Ghost, third after an awkward start in the Stroob. Final guest this morning will be sending out Coup de Grace for his 2-turn debut later this afternoon in the Holy Bull. We welcome in from sunny and warm South Florida, Mr. Chad Brown. Chad, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Chad, as we watch a piece of Coup de Grace's debut back on November 9th, and for our audience, as we pick it up, going into the far turn, he's made a nice move to range up into second on the outside. Chad, how had he trained up to his debut?
He had trained fabulous. We really liked this horse, and we identified him as one of our better 2-year-old colts middle of the summer. And he had some behavioral issues up at Saratoga. As it got busier and busier during the meet, this horse really wasn't cooperating on the track and in a safe manner, I didn't think. So luckily, Mr. Rick Porter owns the horse. He's very patient. He just said, if he's not going to handle himself mentally, don't rush him into Saratoga. It's not for every horse. Back off him a little bit, and we'll run him where it's a little quieter down at Belmont. And we did that, and he was real professional in his debut, and he hasn't given us any behavioral issues since. So just a little patience really helped with that horse.
Chad, in a moment, we're going to have a shot of him on the screen. Would you please take a moment to describe him for our audience from a physical standpoint, and mentally, is he doing a lot better now?
Yeah, mentally he's perfect, and physically he's very strong horse, very powerful. He's not overly tall, but he's tall enough, and very competitive. His only 2 starts for me, both wins, but he hasn't had to deal with any dirt in his face or anything like that. So that'll be a test if he gets any in his face today. And of course, the 2 turns, he's bred to do it. He gives me the impression in the morning that he can handle it, but it is a question mark. We'll have to see what happens today.
Well, his last start came on December 15th in an entry-level allowance at Gulfstream. For our audience, Coup de Grace, number 8 in here. Nice outside post going a mile. Talk about this effort, if you would.
Yeah, he drew perfectly to the outside, and I thought he was very professional and did what we asked him to do. Took the next step and stretched out, albeit around 1 turn, but did the mile nicely and galloped out well. There's a setup I was looking for the Holy Bull. So, hopefully he can build off that and handle the 2 turns and just go on from here.
Chad, how did he come out of this race, and how's he been working up to this afternoon's Holy Bull?
He came out of the race in great shape. He's been working sharp. Really, he hasn't missed anything on his schedule, training-wise, that I've asked him to do. So he's cooperated. Weather's been great. So, it's a tough race today. And, he has the inside post, Mark. He's got natural speed. I'll leave it up to Johnny. We'll probably leave out of there and just establish ourselves, right on or near the lead and just kind of see what everyone else wants to do in that first turn.
Chad, you have lost, your main man, Javier Castellano, to Wicked Strong. Now, that sort of thing is interpreted differently by different handicappers, but what does that mean to you when Javier and his agent decide to leave you to go to Wicked Strong?
Well, what happened there was after the Remsen, Javier and his agent really sought that horse out the way I understand it and accepted a call on that horse in this race long ago. Before Coup de Grace won his second race. So after he won the second race, and I started to indicate that I wanted to run here, I knew early on there was a problem. They were up front with me saying they had a commitment to this horse. I'm happy to pick up Johnny. I'm sure it was a tough decision for Javier. Wicked Strong looks like a really live horse with a bright future. So, as long as I hate to lose Javier. I win a lot of races with him, and he knows this horse, but I can't think of a better substitute than John Velasquez. So I'm okay with the situation, and we'll just have to see how it plays out.
All right, before we let you go, let's catch up on a couple of other horses from the barn, beginning with Bobby's Kitten, the beaten favorite in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Chad, how is he doing, and do you have anything penciled in for him?
Mark, he's doing great. He's had 2 workouts in Palmettos already. Just taking my time bringing him back. He seems like he's moving well. I don't have anything penciled in for him yet. In a perfect world, plan A would be to give him 1 prep end of February, beginning of March, and if he runs well, point him into the bluegrass on synthetic at Keeneland. Of course, we can go to plans B and C if that doesn't work out, but that's really my focus if I can do it.
Chad, I know how disappointed I was in the juvenile turf. How big of a disappointment was it for you?
It was. That horse had trained so well, and it was our very first Breeders' Cup runner of the weekend. I wish it could have been in the middle of the deck or towards the end of the deck, but everyone's a little fresh, horses, jockeys, trainers, everyone, when we first get the event underway, and things just got away from us there on the front end. It was disappointing. I thought he was the best horse in the race. I still think that. But you got to turn the page, and we're lucky he came out of it sound. He has a bright future. I think he has extraordinary talent, this horse, in my opinion. And he's just going to have to develop it on and learn to relax a bit. I think he'll be fine. He's never been difficult in the morning to train. He has had a couple instances in the afternoon where he's been a little headstrong, but I think we can get that under control.
And finally, Normandy Invasion. We haven't seen him since a very good 4th in the Kentucky Derby. First, remind us what sent him and kept him on the sidelines since last May.
When he came out of the Derby, it was a hard race on him, and I just didn't feel the Preakness was for him. He was a little underweight, body sore, not moving quite as well exiting the Derby as he was going in. So he skipped the Preakness, and then after that, he developed a pretty bad foot abscess that undermined one of his feet and really took a while to grow out. That combined with his soreness behind and his weight issue where I thought he's a little underweight. Mr. Porter and I just felt it was best to just shut him down and point towards his 4-year-old year and have him 100%. We know what this horse can do when he's 100%. So we took the conservative approach in just protecting the horse. And so far it looks like it's paid off. I've never seen this horse look better physically. He's training tremendous. He's up to 5/8 already. He should be ready to run sometime in February.
Chad, will he be, maybe this question is difficult to answer, but, with the body soreness and the foot issues last year, will he be a difficult horse to keep sound as a 4-year-old?
They all are at this point. You have to handle these horses with kick gloves at times. But that was part of the reason, Mark, was giving him that much time off. We felt like if we had him 100%, not 99, but 100, that going into a fresh campaign, perfectly sound and looking healthy, he had a much better chance to stay good the whole year rather than, bring him back on short rest and just be kind of chasing our tail around in a circle. So I feel like we've done that. We sent him actually to Windstar Farm. Those folks over there did a terrific job of rehabbing him for us, and I'm excited about this year for him.
Well, Chad, as always, thanks so much for having joined us this morning on Down the Stretch. We appreciate it. All the best later this afternoon with Coup de Grace in the Holy Bull, and we'll look forward to speaking with you again very soon.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
Thank you, Chad. Chad Brown, ladies and gentlemen. Fascinating renewal of the Holy Bull this afternoon. All right, let's wrap things up by thanking the folks who helped get this week's show on the air. Here in the studios at the Clubhouse Racebook in Albany, our associate producer Julie Hoxie and Mick Richards. Back in the control room in Schenectady, Pete Persico directed, Dan Hayes on audio, Pat Peretta handled all pre-production. And thank you very much to this morning's guests, Chad Brown and Kiaran McLaughlin. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy all the racing action this weekend from coast to coast here at Capitol. Stay warm. Have a terrific upcoming week. And from all of us here at Down the Stretch, we'll see you next week.